All right, all right. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Here we go. Hazelnut. This morning, we are in chapter 23 of Proverbs. And, not every chapter in Proverbs is an actual proverb. But every chapter in Proverbs is about wisdom, knowledge, and insight on how to understand certain proverbs. And today's day one in a new environment with some amazing people, and just life has changed. We shut the door. The door is shut on the last season of reaping the sin of drunkenness, alcohol. And today's chapter talks about that, alcohol. So I'm just going to share, this is more of sharing as opposed to sharing my experience, as opposed to trying to share with you. You know what's up. You know. So, forgive me. Chapter 20, verse 29 through 35. Solomon writes this: Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who has wounds without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Here's your answer. Those who linger long at wine, those who go in search of mixed wine. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it sparkles in a cup, when it swirls around smoothly. At the last, it bites like a serpent. And stings like a viper. Your eyes will see strange things, and your heart will utter perverse things. Oof. Yes, you will be like one who lies down in the midst of the sea, or like one who lies on the top of the mast, saying, They have struck me, but I was not hurt. They have beaten me, but I did not feel it. When shall I awake that I may seek another drink? This fool has gone mad, crazy. Due to the chemical imbalance that's been caused, self-inflicted, due to the chemical imbalance, due to the intake of excess alcohol. And I sit here this morning, last week, and I was still in jail, about to get released in a few hours, thinking about the reason why I was in jail, because OWI, second offense, alcohol. Some people can handle it, some people can't. It's poison. I just sit there thinking last weekend, and while I was in jail, why do they call it beer, wine, and spirits? Well, I've heard the answer before. And I just, let me check this out. Beer is made of hops, barley, wheat, whatnot. Wine is made of grapes. And when you sit there and, ferment, or the process of both these things, distilling, you get alcohol content from it. Wine is stronger than alcohol. Wine is stronger than beer. And beer is the bottom of the barrel. But then you have spirits. And the reason why it's called spirits is liquor. Liquor is formed by the extraction. When you sit there and boil either beer or wine or whatever you're doing, it extracts, it evaporates. The liquor begins to be extracted. Like the word spirits comes from spiritus, which is Greek, which means soul, which means essence, being extracted. So the alcohol content from beer or wine gets extracted, it evaporates, and then goes down to another two that turns into condensation. It's an extraction. The alchemical, the portion of that is just being removed. The soul, the essence of whatever alcohol content within wine or beer being extracted, pulled out air, turned around into condensation, which drips spirits. That mixture right there is what drives people off the rocker. People say, I can drink beer, but once I have tequila, or I can drink beer, but once I have a shot of Jack, or stinking Jaeger, Fireball, they're a different beast. And as I look at my last season of just, it doesn't really matter why I walked away, the purpose behind it. Just It's stupid now. I just didn't. Doesn't matter. No one cared. They were more concerned, not concerned, more judgmental of that I was drinking and not why. But now I understand why it's not good to drink. Alcohol is the biggest, how can I say, the biggest deceitful crutch. Like cigarettes. It's easy to get it anywhere and it's legal. And there's different levels of alcohol in these things. At least with meth, and pills, you got to be sneaky. You can walk up and down the street with alcohol. You can have it at birthday parties, baptisms, weddings. It's there. Just like food, it's there. It's common. But these things, they alter you. And you become like the person who, you become a fool. And you get so caught up in it, you think you're in control of it, acting a fool. And it has control of you. The minute you believe that you're in control of something is the minute it has control of you. Do not begin a habit that you're going to have to quit. And I see now just alcohol, it disgusts me. When I was younger, when I was back in LA being raised by my parents, it was a saying, heroin addicts and tweakers are disgusting. They're just bottom of the barrel, they're gross. Until my daughter died in my arms and I lost my family and everything else. And just for the record, that'll happen in 1996 when my daughter died. I went on meth and I in psychiatric ward and homeless and all that. I equated 2024 to 1996. I felt the same hurt and destruction and heartache and just rejection. All those feelings from 96, I found 2024. And until I jumped on meth and I was like, oh, okay. And it wasn't that bad. Now that I've been off it for years, it's just like, wow, I see meth, it's just disgusting. I see alcohol now the same way, it's disgusting. I see people who struggle with pornography, it's disgusting. I don't look down upon them. I just will not touch that trash. I know what it does to the person. I know what it does to people. And don't get me wrong, my heart goes out to those who struggle with it. That's my ministry. That's going to become my ministry. God willing, I'll be accepted or allowed to go to these jails in the areas around here and share the word of God with the inmates once a week. Praying about that. My heart goes out to those guys who are broken and lost. If I can go in there and take my Bible like I did the last few times I was in there and just share the love of God, share the peace of God, the goodness of God, the healing power of God, the ability of God, through the power of God, how He can soften their hardened hearts due to the trauma and the upbringing they had, what God can do and deliver them from these things and share with them. Those things were meant to mold you into the man or woman of God you to become, to lead a flock of broken, just like this guy. But only the broken can lead the broken. That's why I don't listen to therapists and counselors who went to college and got their degrees and they don't know nothing about that. They're book smart, but that's about it. And they're going to tell me what to do. Hey, take a lap with me first. Just walk the yard, fool. You know what I'm saying? Just experience what I experienced. Then come talk to me about that. Because those who've been through it and gone through it and grown through it are the ones that can reach the multitudes, the masses. But for some reason, those who've been through it, they have a record and they're not allowed in jails. It's just a big old thing. Unless God gives them favor. My point is this. Back to the drunkard. Proverbs 20 verse 1 says, wine is a mocker, strong drink is a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. You see that the drunkard and the glutton, the drunkard becomes a brawler, becomes a fool, becomes out there aggressive. But in Proverbs, several times it equates the drunkard and the glutton as companions, the same spirit. Verse 20 of chapter 23 says, do not mix with wine bibbers or gluttonous eaters of meat. For the drunken and the glutton will come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe the man with rags. And it's just like, it's true, excess. Anything, too much of anything is no good. You tend to become selfish, all about self, as opposed to displaying self-control. And again, issues of the heart, greed. So this morning as I'm reading this, he says, who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who has wounds without a cause? Self-inflicted. Who has redness of eyes? Who? Who? You sound like an owl. Who? I'll tell you who. That fool who lingered long at wine. That fool who goes in search of mixed wine. Those who drink don't bother me. That's just where they're at. I just learned now finally this last season, alcohol is not for me. It changes me. I've seen it change people. It killed my father. You know, my father could have still been alive 15 years more, but he chose the way of alcohol due to his perspective on life and his upbringing. He allowed his upbringing, trauma, to control him. And he knew the Lord. Because of him, I'm saved. But he allowed this past to control the present, which dictated the future, which alcohol, you know. Anywho, as I said this morning again, God reminding me in this new environment I'm in, and the people around me, you know. Great reminder, David, you're meant to live in this world and not be a part of it. There's a way to live in the midst of people who partake of worldly things and not be like it. You're no better than they are, and consider yourself lest you fall. Just remember why you're here. Remember where you came from. Remember what you've been delivered from. Remember who did it, when it happened, and why it happened. And as long as you remember those things, and you stay in the Word, you will not stumble. Brothers and sisters, much love to you all. Again, I'm just rambling on for me. Peace be with you. Thank you all for your prayers this last year. God willing, soon I'll have my daughter. That's the last thing on my list. But it's one day at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time. Much love to you all. May the joy of the Lord be your strength. And remember, choose wisdom over the world. God bless.